Yeah, more likely this is bait, him trolling. But you know what? I hear this opinion get tossed around every once in a while, so I figure, hey, let's respond to this video while killing two birds with the same stone. As the old expression goes, well, this clip summarizes it best.
Put the middle fingers high in the sky. Yo, Drake. What up? I got something to say.
Hello everyone, this is Johnny, blackoutbooks.org author. I, the Dragon Crew, and beautiful rabbit hole, learn from the upcoming Job of the Dragon. People aren't talking enough about the decline of the PlayStation exclusive in recent years. I remember growing up how I was trained to believe that God of War, Ratchet and Clank, Resistance, Fall of Man, Uncharted were some of the best, most high-quality console brands ever. You're never going to find games this good on any other gaming platform.
And as an adult, or even as a kid, rather, I kind of naturally gravitated more to the far superior Nintendo exclusives. And now that I'm an adult and can go back and play all these games, playing Sly Cooper again was a really good example of this. I ended up feeling that wow, these PlayStation games really aren't that good at all. I can't imagine anyone being entertained by them or thinking they're funny or engaging or entertaining. If you enjoy PlayStation games, it just means you don't have the experience, the knowledge of better, superior games out there. Wario Land 3 is better than anything that PlayStation Studios has ever put out.
Okay, Harman, just because you don't like PlayStation games doesn't mean people haven't had the experience, as you say, playing superior games. Listen, what's good for one person might not be good to another, and that is perfectly fine. That's how human beings work. That's how personalities work. Just because I love The Last of Us doesn't mean my friends are going to love The Last of Us. Just because my friends love Diablo doesn't mean I'm going to love Diablo. See how that works? You see how that all works? It's all about just the person playing the game. No game is absolute perfect and it's, 100% for everyone. There are people out there who could play open world games for days and days and days and not get bored. Personally, I'm not in that camp. I'm more of a story-driven kind of guy who doesn't mind the occasional open world game. There are people out there who could play the hell out of arena shooters like Doom and Overkill. I can't touch those. I respect the hell out of people who can, because I want to play those games. I want to like those games. But those don't connect with me as something like The Last of Us or Uncharted or Ratchet and Clank or freaking Ghost of Tsushima or God of War Ragnarok do. And that's all about personality. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's bad. It just means you don't like it.
Right? And over the past decade, it seems like Sony has really put themselves in a rut. They've really made a really glaring error that I don't think a lot of people have really picked up on. And that is, declaring The Last of Us to be a masterpiece, right? By using the gaming media and corrupt gaming YouTuber shills to promote The Last of Us as one of the best games ever made, Sony established a standard that they themselves could not possibly live up to.
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert, class! Do you believe in a flying spaghetti monster too, Bubblehead?
Yes, guys, didn't you know the Sony ninjas are coming down and they're telling the critics and the media, you have to like our games or we will self-assassinate you. Yes, I agree that The Last of Us has set up this almost untouchable perfection of games, except it's been touched almost every time with God of War, Spider-Man, Horizon, freaking games like Ratchet and Clank, which are highly praised. But those were just the ninjas. Didn't you guys know it's just the ninjas coming out and saying, hey, you have to like PlayStation games, or we'll demonetize you. Oh no, please don't do that, Sony.
Every follow-up, from God of War to Days Gone to even the sequel to, from the same studio, Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us Part 2, all of them have paled in comparison to the myth, the legend, the iconic original The Last of Us, right? The Last of Us was hyped so much that Sony cannot live up to its own hype. And as a result of that, following the release of HBO, which had the similar pattern of people praising it and saying it was the greatest thing ever in spite of having no real experience with other TV shows or stories like it, it was the same thing over again.
We're at that point now where The Last of Us is kind of the last pillar holding up the myth that PlayStation is a high-quality video game development brand.
What? What the fuck?
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. God have mercy on your soul.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping.
The Last of Us is the only IP that anyone talks about, anyone cares about, that anyone has any investment in. And it's entirely because of the fake artificial hype regarding the brand and just the publicity it's gotten over the past 10 years, right?
Yeah, I got a massive press X to doubt kind of feeling on that. So, The Last of Us is the only reason why PlayStation is even a thought in people's minds, and that's it. Only The Last of Us. Like I showed before, that entire list of games that are on Metacritic, games you could play on PlayStation, and that's not even including like third-party games. That was just like the first-party games I could think of off the top of my head. There's a lot of PlayStation games that have also kind of snuck under the radar. Games like Concrete Genie and Tearaway Unfolded. Good games, by the way, you should check out. And other games like Kena Bridge of Spirits, which Sony's had, some kind of partnership with. But yeah, let's just say The Last of Us is the only reason people care about PlayStation. Yeah, it's not like, they have a bunch of IPs that people are literally asking for Sony to bring ports of, like Resistance, Killzone, Mag, well, at least I'm asking for Mag, or Twisted Metal, or Sly Cooper, or a new Jak and Daxter. No, it's only The Last of Us. Listen, man, much as I'm a Last of Us show, and I admit this 8 times a day, The Last of Us isn't the only fucking game I play on my PlayStation. I play a lot of fucking PlayStation exclusives, and while some are hits and some are misses, the fact is, I bought those games because I had a general interest in it. So it doesn't mean Sony has no interest in games outside The Last of Us. Clearly, people want to play Sony's games. That's also why a lot of these games are selling 10 million copies. Even a game that's mid, like Forbidden West, I've said this before, Forbidden West, mid as hell, still sold over 10 million copies. Same thing with the first Horizon, and the first God of War, and God of War Ragnarok. The only game, to my knowledge, that I liked that kind of flopped was Days Gone and Concrete Genie, because Concrete Genie was barely promoted.
Right, nothing else even competes, right? Horizon Zero Dawn was heavily promoted, heavily shilled, heavily beloved by critics, heavily pushed to compete with Breath of the Wild. And what happens? Because the game can't be allowed to be bigger than The Last of Us, because The Last of Us has to maintain its image as that like untouchable masterpiece of video game design or video game storytelling, Horizon never really had a shot. After that year was over, it was shoved to the side and made way for God of War. And that was shoved to the side and made way for Ghost of Tsushima, which nobody talks about at all.
Wrong!
Ghost of Tsushima is the second most requested game I hear, for PC. You know what's the most requested? Bloodborne, another PlayStation exclusive.
With the reception that Last of Us Part 2 got, and with things going the way they are, with the downplay, just the
people want
general development structure of Naughty Dog not really talking or not really developing anything other than The Last of Us, with the production of these TV shows, with the shilling and stuff like that, aside in favor of The Last of Us Part 2, and The Last of Us Part 2 was disappointing. So even the people who are rabid about The Last of Us, who genuinely thought this was one of the best games ever made, have to deal with the fact that the series has fallen off. Now, I will tell you that the series was never good to begin with, but
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
Now, I know you guys are going to get ready for this explosive take, but I like The Last of Us Part 2. Do I think The Last of Us Part 2 is a perfect game? Hell no. I mean, when it comes to its graphics and gameplay, I think they're pretty much the best it can get. But when it comes to the story, yeah, it's a little convoluted. It's a little, I guess you would say, coincidental is probably the right word. But still, at the end of the day, I like the story. I like the theme of like how revenge is just not worth it sometimes. I just generally love the story of The Last of Us Part 2. Now, I know I'm in the minority in that one. 100% admit I'm in the minority, and this is my hill I'll die on. Like, I love this story, but I know it's not for everyone. I know there's people out there who like The Last of Us 1 and hate The Last of Us Part 2. Perfectly fine. It is 100% fine to like something or hate something I don't like. A great example of a franchise I don't like is Pokemon. I have nostalgia for Pokemon. I used to think Pokemon was great, but ever since, I would say after, goddamn, what was it, X and Y generation, whatever the hell that was, I kind of fell off. I stopped thinking Pokemon was so great. There's still people out there who think Pokemon is fantastic. Great, cool. Do you know what the difference between me and Harman here is at the end of the day? I'm not trying to pass off my opinion as fact. I'm not trying to tell you that Pokemon's dead. I am not trying to tell you that The Last of Us is the best thing to touch the earth and is the better. Neil Druckmann is the Jesus Christ himself. I'm not doing that. All I am doing is giving my opinion on what he is saying. And I'm going to say this. While, yes, The Last of Us has its problems, 100%, and I know I get a little overbearing about The Last of Us content on this channel, but I am passionate about something. Just like how I'm passionate about food, just like how I'm passionate about The Walking Dead, like I'm passionate about Dr. Stone, Demon Slayer, Fullmetal Alchemist. When I am passionate about something, I dive headfirst and I don't regret it. Because if I care about what I'm talking about, then it's not even work for me. And that's why I don't mind doing the Last of Us videos. But at the end of the day, I admit it's not a perfect franchise. It's God's problems. And I will never try to force it on someone who hates The Last of Us. If you don't like it, just let me know it, and then you know what? We can move on, and we can talk about something else. We can talk about how NFTs are worse than the devil himself. Pretty sure the robot devil has something to do with it.
Nobody cares about anything other than The Last of Us. And as a result of that, when The Last of Us reaches its apex, like, now that it's in decline, what exactly is going to replace it? What exactly is going to live up to the hype that The Last of Us set for itself? I genuinely think that once The Last of Us dies, which I think will come about when like Neil Druckmann is thrown from his vision and now he died. Like when The Last of Us dies and developers are forced to kind of like come up with something new or do something different or like innovate or be something creative, it's gonna be more and more obvious, I think, that PlayStation does not have a leg to stand on when it comes to their first party development studios. Not a single one of them has put out anything relevant in over a decade. Right? Like I would say the last good like PlayStation developed exclusive was like Shadow of the Colossus. I don't think of that game. But like
Generally speaking, when you look at like what Sony's been doing, when you look at like how little their show campaigns really blast, when you look at how stuff like Knack becomes a joke, you know, when you look at just how little enthusiasm people have for PlayStation exclusive titles, like when you realize just how little people actually care about Sony's first party studios, when you really think about that, when you really talk about this, when you really like go dig deep and really research this, like Sony is like, the house of cards is about to fall. Like we are at that point where The Last of Us is the only thing keeping the entire brand afloat.
I swear to God, this man is just on repeat. Someone reprogram that fucking Nintendo. He needs to say new shit. You've been saying this for the whole fucking video, Harman. How about this? Come up with new material. Present to me facts. Present to me why The Last of Us is the only thing keeping PlayStation alive. You're ignoring every other IP Sony has. Every other game they have. No one gets hyped for Sony games. Dude, the hype from Wolverine alone fucking proves you wrong. The hype for Spider-Man 2 proves you wrong. Factions 2 proves you wrong. The rumored Twisted Metal game proves you wrong. Just shut up! You are saying the same thing over and over. I feel like I'm losing my fucking sanity here.
And without it, you know, as it like declines in popularity and people start noticing like the problems more and start talking about them more and start realizing that like, hey, this game isn't actually all that much fun. Like when all of that comes together, which is already happening, when all of that comes together.
You mean like how people have been saying about Pokemon? How new Scarlet and Violet games are not going over well with people? and how they are disinterested in the franchise going forward. Huh. It's kind of like people lose interest in the franchises they once beheld or loved because they get older and they expect more, or they just outgrow them. Is that a possibility with Nintendo in the world, or just any kind of media that we just outgrow them eventually? I'm got a sneaky suspicion that's something that happens pretty common.
Like, it's over. Like, there will be no recovery. In fact, I would say, like, we're in we're in the middle of that process now, in which more people are beginning to realize, like, wow, the show was really not that good. Like, The Last of Us Part 2 was really not that good. And, like, yeah, you have, like, your shows coming out and, like, trying to damage control for the game at all times, but, like, I don't know how much that works. You know, like, after Cyberpunk 2077 and after Last of Us Part 2, like, I've seen the shows, like surround themselves with each other and, like, try and gaslight communities into thinking The Last of Us Part 2 is, like, a misunderstood masterpiece. But what ends up happening is that, like, people like me just, like, don't go to those friends. You know, it's a lot like Undertale. Like, why would I try and tell people that this game is garbage when they have, like, no intention of listening or respecting me at all? You know what I mean? Like people will talk shit about The Last of Us again when it's relevant, but right now, there's really nothing to talk about. You know, the show has already been forgotten. The Last of Us Part 2 is, like, has not been damage controlled, in spite of what Naughty Dog wants you to believe, and, like, the original is just a declining thing. You know, like, if you think back on it, like, it's kind of remarkable how the gaming establishment managed to gaslight the community into thinking that the Ocarina, the Zelda formula, was stale and outdated by the time that, like, Wind Waker came out, or even Majora's Mask. But, like, The Last of Us has been, like, going for a decade, and people are still trying to pretend it's, like, great. It's pathetic, it's sad. People really need to start condemning The Last of Us more.
Oh my god. I did it. I got through the whole fucking video. Hallelujah. There is a God. There has to be. After me getting through this painful ass video. Basically at the end of there, he was talking about how, like, The Last of Us is gonna die. Blah, 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 blah. Harman, buddy, this is why I only do so much of your content. It's so boring. It's so repetitive. Let me tell you something right now, Harman. Okay, I'm going to pull on my Last of Us fanboy pants here. The Last of Us will be more relevant than F-Zero. It will be more relevant than Kid Icarus. It will be more relevant than Zelda. And here's the thing why I say this. The Last of Us has a story that resonates with people. Not just Last of Us 1. The Last of Us Part 2. The reason why so many people get upset about The Last of Us Part 2 is because they were invested into the story. People who even say they hate the game. Here's the thing. You can't hate something without getting invested into it. Or at least not having some kind of interest in it. So that tells me the game was resonating with some people, but they didn't like how things went. And again, I'm going to say this right now. Perfectly fine if you don't like it. But The Last of Us is a franchise that, yes, it's not going to last forever. It's not Mario. It's not Zelda. It's not Pokemon. It has an expiration date. It's going to end when it ends. Neil Druckmann himself has said that they almost didn't even do the sequel to Last of Us 1 just because they didn't know if they had a story worth telling. And yeah, I agree with Neil 100%. Don't keep me making games of this franchise if you have no interesting stories to tell. Now, obviously, with the world of The Last of Us, I think there's a lot of stories they could tell, but I get where he's coming from, because a lot of people look at The Last of Us as the Joel and Ellie side of it. They never look at the Fireflies or the Abby side of things, which is the stuff I'm actually, going to be honest, I'm a little more interested in than when it comes to Ellie and Joel stuff. Don't get me wrong, love Ellie and Joel, my favorite characters in any media. But at the same time, it's like, when it comes to interesting elements, like, you know, the Fireflies, that's where I'm more drawn to. But that is this video, folks. Holy crap. This one was painful. And you notice at the end, I did ask for a like, comment, subscribe, and all that YouTube algorithm BS. Because I want this to make this an endurance test. I will no longer be able to be tortured, waterboarded, or fucking held captive and tortured. Because I will be able to endure the torture they'll give me, because I make Harman Smith content. I have heard this man spew some bullshit, and you know what, Harman? Honestly, I don't know what to say anymore. You are a bullshit artist, and man oh man, you love saying stupid shit to get attention. And you know what, buddy? You're getting attention. Congratulations. You got all the attention you want. Now, you're gonna get all the exactly what you deserve. Barely any fucking recognition, and your content will speak for itself. It's lazy, there's no proof to anything you're saying. No proof whatsoever. Outside of, it's your opinion. But you know what? That's your God-given right. It's your right to have your opinion. But at the end of the day, I think your opinion is about as relevant as your fucking brain cells. Dead on the ground. So until next time, guys, like I said, please like and subscribe and all that YouTube algorithm BS. I need it. After this, I need the likes. This is the only time I'm gonna like almost sound like I'm begging, like DSP, give me the bits, give me the bits. No, just please like, comment, subscribe, and all that YouTube algorithm BS. I need to take a nice fucking swig of coffee now. Oh god, doing all this voiceover stuff. That that you do not know how dry it makes your lips. Until next time, peace out and have a good day.